So there are many major corporations that are staging an ad boycott on Elon Musk's X, formerly known as Twitter right now, and that includes a lot of Hollywood studios as well. Disney is boycotting, Paramount is boycotting, Lionsgate, Comcast, NBC Universal, and also big tech corporations like Apple, IBM. And this is all because Elon Musk vocalized agreement with a post that was deemed anti-Semitic. So no one is really quoting directly what this post was. Journalists are just doing the thing they always do, where they refer to it and say it was anti-Semitic and offensive and monstrous and all of that, but they're not going to show you the screenshot because it shows how stupid this whole controversy actually is. So Jonathan Greenblatt, the CEO of the ADL, posted the screenshot. Thank you for that. Elon Musk was replying to the following tweet, saying Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of dialectical hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them. And Elon replied, "You have said the actual truth." And a day later, he said that Media Matters is an evil organization. He was proven correct because Media Matters just got caught red-handed altering screenshots of offensive posts on X to show advertisements from big corporations right under them that were not originally there, to goad these corporations, I presume, into boycotting and making public statements about X. They just hate that this platform exists. They hate that people are able to speak somewhat freely on this platform. It's the only social media platform that you're able to do that anymore, and they can't stand that. That's what this is all about, I think.
It's also fair to point, somebody else pointed out, they said this all happened like the day after Xi Jinping met with everyone, so you never know. A lot of stuff going into it.
Another weird coincidence, if you will, is that David Brock, the founder and CEO of Media Matters, who are posting these altered screenshots, was once one half of a DC power couple with James Alefantis, the owner of Comet Ping Pong Pizzeria, the center of the Pizzagate movement.
Oh, the guy who got arrested? Yeah.
The former gay lover of the owner of Comet Ping Pong.
Yeah.
It's just beyond parody at this point.
Well, the guy who said that he debunked it also, right? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's like, it feels like, I remember when Pizzagate got mentioned in an episode of NCIS New Orleans, and I was like, what the hell is the world coming to?
Yeah. And another thing that's interesting about this is that IBM is one of the corporations boycotting advertisements on X right now. And I found out that IBM is trying to cover some of their own tracks. So I have here some supplemental materials. This book is IBM and the Holocaust, the strategic alliance between Nazi Germany and America's most powerful corporation, or at least it was back in 2002 or whatever when this was published, by Edwin Black. And I posted about this saying, turns out IBM assisted Nazi Germany in collecting census data on their Jewish population using IBM tabulating machines. And in 1937, IBM's CEO Thomas J. Watson said that the world must extend a sympathetic understanding to the German people and their aims under the leadership of Adolf Hitler. So isn't it ironic that they are now staging a boycott on this social media platform over anti-Semitism when they have their own dirty history that they're trying to cover up?
Wasn't VW also started by a...
Volkswagen, but it is a German company. IBM is not.
What if they're boycotting as well?
Yeah. And I also pointed out that Dua Lipa recently confronted Tim Cook. Apple is also boycotting X right now over their scandalous use of child slave labor in making their products. I don't know why Dua Lipa had to be the person to bring up that question.
Technically, Ricky Gervais brought it up in 2020 at the at the Golden Globes.
Ultimately, the point is, though, that these companies stage boycotts when they make risk-benefit analyses, not because they found out that X doesn't align with company values. Companies don't have values. They don't have principles. They just have a bottom line to worry about.
Yeah. The idea of a company having values is born strictly out of wanting to improve stock price in save face for the company. I've always laughed at that notion, but it's funny because the reason why it works so well, that idea to me, is because for years I've always found it interesting when people that I would talk to or knew would talk about companies and wonder why they didn't act like people. Why aren't you more empathetic? Why aren't you more sympathetic? Like if an employee gets sick, right? And they're like, they're not willing to cover their health insurance and stuff like that, or they're not willing to cover their medical expenses. The argument is always like, look, the company could be humane and do this for their employee. I said, even if they did, they wouldn't do it because they care about the employee. Mm-hmm. They would do it for the fantastic publicity it would bring the business. That's capitalism.
Right.
It's the ability to trade for the employee, it's your ability to trade your time for their money, right? You get paid for your work. And for a company to be able to benefit from a story like that, it will never be about actually helping someone else. Just like with WWE, the story I always bring up, there's a reason they will allow anyone to go to rehab on their dime if they worked at WWE, because their reputation for many, many years was shot because so many people that went through the company became drug addicts or died. They're not helping them because they care about them. They're helping them because it's beneficial to the bottom line.
Right.
So that's why the idea of, for the people who don't get that, that's why the idea of a company having shared values makes sense, even though
having morals in general.
It doesn't, even though it doesn't actually make any sense, it at least logically seems to fit in their brain when we know it's not true.
The way that the media is covering this right now reminds me a lot of Roseanne Barr's cancellation, because every time that journalists covered Roseanne Barr getting canceled and her show getting discontinued, or after that they got rid of her, killed off her character, they would make reference to her racist tweets, but never show you the screenshot, never quote what she actually said, which I'm not endorsing what she said at all. I'm just saying it's not nearly as bad as the way that they frame it. And it's all about framing. In all of this deluge, this avalanche of coverage about Elon Musk supporting anti-Semitism, it makes him sound like he's some kind of neo-Nazi. And in reality, he was calling out hypocrisy. Yeah. Like,
that's a harder story for them to tell.
It's the same point that Candace Owens was attempting to make about donors for universities pulling their funding when they accuse these universities of anti-Semitism, completely overlooking all of the anti-white and anti-male hatred that is commonplace in the curriculum of those universities. Yeah. It's the exact same point. It's not anti-Semitic to make the point. It's hypocritical.
How do you fix it?
Fix what?
How do you get them to start actually calling out the anti-white sentiment that's in these schools too?
Well, they clearly don't care, right? Like, that's where they're showing their true loyalties, where their true loyalties lie. Yeah.
I mean, it was like, remember when people were putting up signs that said it's okay to be white, and people said they were hate symbols?
It's insane.
Take them down, which is insane.
And the wording of that slogan is intentionally to show, like,
it's the Black Lives Matter of the other side.
It's the Black Lives Matter of white people. Like, it's okay to be white. If you disagree with that statement, it says more about you than the person saying it.
So I guess the correlation there would be, because the people who had nuanced discussions about this always pointed out, they said the name Black Lives Matter was designed as a cudgel, as a weapon to keep you from criticizing it. I can support the general notion that Black Lives Matter because they do, while not supporting the concept of Black Lives Matter Incorporated, which was which is a business run by actual individuals, which has spent money in certain ways that many people will disagree with. It's a thing.
Policy aims that they outline on their official website and have corruption that has been investigated in detail by people other than us. But there's no It's Okay to Be White Incorporated.
Yeah, so, but if there was, and it started pushing a bunch of stuff that I didn't like, you would also be fine to criticize It's Okay to Be White Incorporated, but still agree with the slogan. But we're not even there. You're not even allowed to agree with the slogan because it's labeled as hate speech.
And again, it's just ironic that Hollywood studios are involved in this boycott, because Hollywood is in no way an industry bereft of their own crimes. It's full of degeneracy, corruption, power drunk, actual villains, the ones that you don't see in movies. And they want to morally grandstand over something as little as this. Like, it wasn't even Elon Musk's post. He agreed with someone else's post.
Yeah.
But he's right that Media Matters is an evil organization. And it's so just blatant and in your face. The way that they photoshopped these screenshots to put like an Xfinity ad under a Nazi's post or something. Yeah. I mean, that's obviously done with the aim of damaging someone's business, which gives you cause to start a lawsuit, right?
Which, hey, even if they're getting sued, guys, right-wing influencers to the rescue. Right-wing influencers like Tim Pool.
So Tim
super ultra right-wing.
Yeah. Tim has made the baller move in response, saying that he's pledging $250,000 to spend on advertising on X.
I get called names in this chat all the time. He doesn't pledge that much money to me. That's a problem, man. My favorite was so he's going to run more, like him, Elijah Schaffer both said they're going to run more ads on X. Andrew Tate said he would run ads of X on X. Like he would promote X. He would run ads about X on X.
Okay.
Like,
I mean, I guess the money is all the same.
Yeah, it's like it's not even like Tim's gonna run ads for Timcast on X. Andrew Tate said he'd run ads promoting X on X.
Got it.
Yeah. It says right. So it says Tate, the manosphere influencer who has been accused of, and notice how they put that in there. They put the accusations in there to dirty him up before you even get to the part. It says who's been accused of R-word in sex trafficking by the Romanian authorities, has offered Musk monthly payments of $1 million. I will advertise X on X. I will literally promote your own platform on this platform, he wrote on his X page.
That's funny.
Yeah. And Tim, they're gonna run ads for these things, and the sad thing is it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't. The attack is ridiculous and over the top. None of this should be happening at all. But then the influencers have to be labeled. I believe right now, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong because I don't follow Andrew Tate very closely, but he's very pro-Palestine right now, right?
He's Muslim.
Because he's sending money to Gaza and stuff like that, which right now would be labeled as a more left-wing belief system. Because it seems to have been, put on the lines where it seems like the right is the one defending Israel and the left is the ones defending Gaza. Andrew Tate, by that definition, is a left-wing influencer right now. He's a wokey, but he's not a brokey. He's a wokey, but he's not a brokey. So you can't win in this stuff. It's hilarious to watch all of this happen. But the way that they try to then label you right off the bat is done to discredit you, all while not showing your tweets.
What I want to see is Elon Musk filing a lawsuit against Media Matters.
And that should be going through. I also love that
he definitely has grounds to do so. It says they are using manipulated data in order to interfere with X advertising relationships. It's called tortious interference, a common law tort allowing a claim for damages against a defendant who wrongfully interferes with the plaintiff's contractual or business relationships.
Yeah.
So
we'll see if the lawsuit
I hope
goes
that
forward.
Happens.
I do love that they use this. This is the most right-wing picture you could get of Tim, though, with the flag behind him.
From MAGA Month?
MAGA Month.
June is MAGA Month, not Pride Month. Remember that.
You can't do it. So Bill Ackman, the billionaire hedge fund manager, came to Musk's defense over the weekend, writing that the ex-owner is not anti-Semitic. and it just seems like they're always, and we're getting closer to an election, which is another reason you want to see them disincentivize people from using X, right? I guess the theory would be like if they can get advertisers to pull out and these creators can no longer make money on the platform, theoretically, they'll be using the platform less, which will stave off large avalanches of information being released in a timely manner, right? If you can disincentivize people from using the platform. If you go on, like, every time I log on to Instagram, right, I'll get, like, it gives me like a recommended threads to check out, which I never do because it's threads.
Yeah.
And it's the opposite, right? It's a left-wing echo chamber over there, whereas on Twitter,
it's literally the Gab of the left wing.
Yeah, basically. It's stupid, and all of this stuff, it just reeks of how the billionaire class shuts people up and gets people to pull out of their campaigns. And he because of stuff like this, which is why Twitter /X or whatever has been devalued so much, right? This
is why I think it's culturally important, is because X is now, under Elon's leadership, the only social media platform with some meager level of free speech allowed on it.
Well, and that's not true, because I've heard that you can re-truth something truthful.
There are still... It's the only mainstream social media platform, I'll say, that isn't an echo chamber where you're allowed to speak freely somewhat. And that's not to even say there isn't censorship. Like, people are still shadow banned on X. People are still suspended and banned on X all the time for infringing on hate speech rules. There is still a debate about whether you can misgender people on X. So it's still not perfect, but it's something, and they can't stand that.
In the chat, Kevin says, "Bruh, the Christians are extremely left-wing, but I know you dislike Brett, I know you dislike Andrew Tate, but that's a huge leap." I was making a joke.
Wait, what?
I'm assuming he's referring to me calling Andrew Tate left-wing. I was making a joke. I was being sarcastic.
He agrees with the Free Palestine, Queers for Palestine people in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. What political ideology that makes him, I have no idea, nor do I really care, because the stuff he's talking about is it's just not relevant there. So, like, I mean, I don't hear him. Does he talk about policy here in America? Does he talk? He doesn't like America for the most part. He's glad he doesn't live here. So It doesn't really matter. We'll see where it goes, but it's going to keep getting worse. As we get closer to the 2024 election, they are going to ramp up their attempts to discredit and censor people, because stopping information from getting out is how you win elections now. I really do believe that a big part of, like, as great as Trump is doing in the polls right now, and I did just see something that says he's now leading. I know Adrian Norman was talking about it today. He lost a lot of growth by not being on Twitter anymore when he was banned. He lost a lot of oomph there, and that's very hard to get back when it's such a good place for centralized to get information.
I want Trump back on Twitter.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media, and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.